Hey guys, this is Clinton Jeff and today we're talking about the Adidas SL20. About a month ago, Adidas released a new running shoe called the Adidas SL20. This shoe was part of the recent Adidas Faster Than campaign where they talked about how being fast is not something that's only reserved for the elite runners and that speed isn't always just about distance and time. Instead, Adidas emphasized that fast is more of a personal feeling which everyone can experience even if you don't really think of yourself as a fast runner. And they backed this up with a series of videos from all types of people who run just because they enjoy it. Now, I've actually been really intrigued about this shoe because I saw a bunch of people post about it in the Adidas Runners Kuala Lumpur group. As you might already know, Adidas has their own runner groups in major cities around the world and they can be super useful to keep you motivated. Like right now in Malaysia, we're actually under a lockdown because of the current pandemic, so all runs are on pause. But the Adidas Runners Kuala Lumpur group has been posting live workouts at home sessions, which is pretty good and definitely motivates you to stay in shape and work out even from home. Alright, starting with a quick history lesson. The SL20 is a spiritual successor to the old Adidas SL20 that dropped way back in 1972. That was a shoe that was designed to be in the German Olympics at the time and was worn by a bunch of athletes back then. SL stands for super light and hey, the name suits it. With the SL20, Adidas designed a lightweight running shoe that's meant to cater to all types of runners, just like the campaign said, and all speeds made just for anyone who wants to feel fast. And it weighs just 238 grams, making it one of the lightest running shoes around, though it is still slightly heavier than the Adios 50. And you realize how light it is from the second you put these shoes on. The SL20 is a shoe that just makes you feel fast and you really feel like running when you're wearing them, which is a really good thing for a running shoe. I mean, this is my first pair of really light running shoes and I have to admit, if you've never worn a pair of lightweight running shoes before, this will really feel like a whole new dimension. That being said, I should mention though that these are meant more for short, fast runs rather than long distance runs. Though honestly, it's up to you how you use them because I feel like it's a really good shoe either way. Alright, with that introduction out of the way, let's start with design and construction. When you first pick up the SL20, it's very clear that the choice of materials used here was meant to make the shoe as light as possible. There's a new LightStrike midsole which is much lighter than Boost. Yet at the same time, there's the same torsion system, a heel counter and Continental Rubber, just like you'd find on the way more expensive Adidas Ultra Boost sneakers, which is pretty sweet. You can see that we got the awesome black, white and orange colorway, which is the main colorway that Adidas is marketing. But the shoe also comes in a really cool black, white and gold colorway, along with a more formal all black colorway as well in case you want something a little bit more low key. Starting with the upper, the SL20 is made of an engineered mesh material which feels extremely thin and a major contributor to the whole lightweight nature of the shoe. The material seems tough enough, but as with any shoe with a thin breathable upper, you'll want to make sure that you're wearing thicker socks or just keep a close watch on your toenails so you don't end up accidentally poking through it. Similarly, the tongue also has no padding, being just a thin piece of lightweight fabric. The laces are also pretty soft and there are two extra eyelets up top in case you want a really snug fit. One small detail that I actually really liked was the SL20 branding on the lace tips. That's pretty cool. I also noticed that the lacing is also slightly asymmetric with a bias towards the medial side, which helps with that lockdown feeling and medial support. Moving on to the heel area, the SL20 has an integrated heel counter, which means that unlike the external heel counter, which you'd see on the Ultra Boost 20, this one is all internal. The heel counter is also made of a hard material, which allows you to easily slip your foot into the shoe, but also does a great job at locking your heel into place. Moving on to the midsole, it's made out of a new material called LightStrike, which is significantly lighter than Boost, which most of you all have already heard of. But I'll talk about the midsole later on. Underneath that, you have the Continental Stretch Web outsole with the red torsion propulsion system integrated into the sole, which gives the shoe more structure and more control. Then there's the heel, which is more stiff and supportive, but I'll talk about the entire midsole and the outsole later on. And for those of you who aren't as familiar with Adidas shoes, yes, it is that Continental, the tire maker. All in all, the SL20 is a great looking shoe with a lot of visual attention to detail. Alright, let's move on to the most exciting part about the shoe, which is performance and fit. In terms of fit, the SL20 is supposed to fit true to size, but it is a bit of a narrow shoe with a rigid toe box. Since I have pretty wide feet, Adidas sent me a half size up. which fits pretty well, but I definitely advise trying these on in a store if you can first, because the engineered mesh upper here is not a very stretchable fabric. So if you have wide feet like I do, you'll probably want to go up half a size or maybe even up a full size. And in case you're wondering, the heel to toe drop here is the usual 10 millimeters. Coming to performance, as you probably heard me say a couple times by now, the SL20 feels incredibly light, and you'll feel it immediately when you start running with them. The engineered mesh upper is weirdly lightweight, as if it's not even there, and the new LightStrike foam has a good amount of energy return as well. The LightStrike foam itself is pretty interesting. It was originally designed for use in basketball shoes, with the thought being that the foam would have enough cushioning, still be lightweight, but still also be very responsive, especially with the kind of lateral movement that you see in basketball. It was first introduced in 2018 in the Harden basketball shoes, before moving on to the Adi Zero series of running shoes. With this purpose in mind, LightStrike is slightly harder than Boost cushioning, sacrificing some of that soft comfort for better energy return instead. This cushioning, along with the lightweight upper, is the reason why you feel like you want to go faster in these shoes. As a result, I found myself running much faster in these shoes, and I'm not even really sure why. Maybe it's just a psychological feeling out of wearing such lightweight shoes, or maybe it's the overall package of the SL20. The torsion system allows for a nice springy toe off and also helps with the energy transition from heel to toe, allowing your foot to go back into its normal state during each strike, and the heel counter keeps your feet firmly locked in. But that being said, the slightly harder midsole does mean that these are best suited for short distance runs though. I mean, you could still wear them for long distance runs and marathons as well, but the LightStrike foam midsole is not as soft a cushioning as you'd want for a long distance running shoe. So in my opinion, for sprints and everyday jogs, the SL20 is freaking fantastic. But for long distance runs, you might want to check out the Ultra Boost 20 or even the much recommended Asics Gel Nimbus 22 instead. That being said, these shoes really are a lot of fun to run in because they're so darn lightweight. With great energy return, that push-off sensation really is amazing. So maybe some of y'all might actually like it for long distance runs as well. Coming to the outsole on the SL20, it's worth mentioning that you can also feel any stones or pebbles under your foot when you run with these, so they're not really meant for off-road or cross-country runs either. I think these are meant just for roads or street runs. The Continental Stretch Web outsole is a great addition, just like we've experienced on the way more expensive Ultra Boost series for a while now. These are some of the grippiest rubber outsoles around, and this means running even on wet roads is not an issue. I mean, I won't really recommend using these to run on icy roads because I'm always very paranoid about running on ice, but then again, I've only lived in tropical weather countries, so ice is not a thing I encounter every day. But apart from that, the outsole has no issues gripping and keeping the traction even on the rainiest of days. Overall, the Adidas SL20 falls more in the stable end of the spectrum compared to many other lightweight running shoes. While I think of them as a more neutral running shoe, it does have a pretty reasonable amount of stability. Alright guys, with all of that out of the way, it's time for the CJ verdict. And here we go. The Adidas SL20 is just a fantastic running shoe designed for runners who want to run fast. It doesn't really matter what your definition of fast is because these are shoes that will honestly make you feel fast just when you're running with them. If you're really looking for a pair of lightweight running shoes, this is pretty much one of the best options right now. Otherwise, the only real alternatives come from Adidas itself, with the Adi Zero, Boston 8 and the Adios 5, both of which look very similar to the SL20 now. All three belong to the same lightweight running shoe category and they weigh almost the same, but the primary difference is in their uppers and midsoles and how they feel when you're running with them. Both the Boston and the Adios have slightly more premium upper constructions, and both of them have boost in the midsole, which means they also cost a lot more than the SL20. The Adios feels more like a racing shoe while it offers the least in terms of comfort, whereas the Boston is more of an all-around running shoe and it's firmer and harder than the SL20, but also softer and more comfortable than the Adios. Out of all three, I think the SL20 is the most comfortable, though of course not as comfortable as the heavier Solar Boost or Ultra Boost sneakers. But if you're looking for a lightweight running shoe to get you started off with running, or maybe just be your first ever pair of lightweight running shoes, then I think the SL20 is for you. Or even if you're a very well-trained everyday runner who wants a second pair of fast shoes. The Adidas SL20 is just for anyone who wants to feel fast without shifting too far away from a comfortable daily running shoe, but still wanting to try out a fast, lightweight running shoe. These are definitely recommended. Alright guys, so that's what I think about the Adidas SL20. As always, if you guys have any questions about these shoes, let me know right in the comment section below, or you can ask me right over on Instagram or Twitter at ClintonJeff. And hey, if this video was helpful, don't forget to hit the like button right below, or maybe subscribe because that would be appreciated. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.